I don't remember much of my time on World of the Living. But there's much to remember. I remember much of my time on. Anyway, I don't remember much of my time on the World of the Living. But there's much to remember now. My days were filled with angst, with pure lack of faith in the world. My profession showed me that clearly. Violent crimes from violent people. I remember my first day on a job, wishing that no one would call me on the phone, and my assistant would not knock on my door, telling me that there was a client there waiting for me. Bills and money meant nothing to me, as they still don't. But that's when the job corrupted me. With every day, with every night, with every step, with every wink, I could feel it creeping up inside of me. That desire to preserve life was slowly fading away from me. Was the absurd to me became routine, and routine is so often poisonous. I was great at my job, became truly heartless. Every crime scene I walked into was filled with emotion and biases, but I didn't have any. But instead of what I was before, when I woke up, I stopped wishing for peace of mind and replaced it with a desire for challenge. That the next big crime to step into my day to day life was going to be nearly unsolvable. Many days I did feel that way. As a response to my usefulness, people started getting crafty with their sins. I started getting well known and started getting popular around those places. With every smart plot those devils built, I entered with the most underhanded tactic, the most dirty skill I could have possibly used just to solve my problems. Then the night came. It was a night like many others, though other nights rarely had the same atmosphere. The sky was cloudy, and you could tell it was going to pour down the worst storm my city had seen in a while. Reports of violent crimes happening to ladies near my office had skyrocketed, so I told my assistant to leave early that day. Still remember her eyes. It was like she knew. She knew what was about to happen, yet she was powerless to really stop it. As I was closing up shop, finishing off the paperwork that I left on top of my desk, she walked into my office. Her red dress, tight, easily displaying her beautiful figure, yet hiding the drops of blood that were stained on her hips. I might have seen that blood, an obvious sign of danger, but I was blind to it. For the first time in a long while, I was truly feeling something. My mind stopped thinking about logic and started to think about how lovely she would look by my side as my wife to be. Back then, I thought she saw it too. I mistook the glow in her eyes for love, when it was merely the eyes of a predator that had just spotted her prey. She walked slowly, almost as if she was levitating in the air. Her arms were inviting me to wrap my own and take her to heaven. I was mystified by her makeup, her way to be. It was beyond my recognition. I had never seen anything like it. Took a solid minute for her to say anything. At least it felt that way. But when she did, oh my, that voice, that's that's the voice that sealed the deal. Smooth like silk. Something to be recorded and played for children to sleep to. I'm sorry. I saw the door sign saying they were closed for today, but I don't have much time left to spare. She told me. And just like that, I was out of the office with her by my side. Though those empty and through those empty and dangerous streets, she said her man was missing, and she had no clue where he could have been. Now, my youth and naive self hoped I could find him in the hands of another lady, or worse, much, much worse. Jealousy, yes, yes, but it was fueled by pure passion, I could tell you that much. But that only made this case all the more of a death sentence. Only the leads we had from this associates, we started to track him down. We tracked the man down to a warehouse. Place was seedy as it gets. Slowly walked into the building, pistol in hand, and for the first time in a while, my hands were shaking. They were worried about what were about to happen. I was worried by my lady, by my love. Well, I was also worried she would break her heart. After all, finding your husband in such a place, it has to be heartbreaking for her. I was ready to blast whoever was inside the building, no matter what. Little did I notice the gun my beautiful partner was holding to my head. She told me to just simply drop my weapon and walk slowly. Little naive self. Believe it or not, I thought she was just making a plan. Maybe a stupid plan. But what can you do? When you're in love, you just follow the footsteps. Well, I walked out of the main room of the building, see the husband and his associates, all holding their guns and ready to fire. That was the moment. That was the moment where I realized just what I had gotten into. The man dressed himself like a king, adorned with gold trinkets and some kind of axe imagery. Told me I had crossed him, but my mind was too broken to really remember anything he was saying. He said he was going to make me as an example, show people not to step on his business. He pointed two lackeys to throw me in a freeze with the rest of the dead meat in there. I walked slowly. The two of them seemed really distracted, probably by the lady. I can't blame them. I too was very distracted by her figure. She, even though she had just betrayed me, I still thought maybe someone deep in there I could still fix her and still bring her to my side. The two lackeys opened the door to the freezer. I could feel it. The cold air, much like the air around the building after the lady betrayed me. But it wasn't anything simple. When I got in there, I saw the bodies, probably of others, who were just as unlucky as I was. Quickly, sidestepped, and quickly threw down both of them and took their weapons. My silly self first thought, the best thing I should do now is get my revenge. And so I did. I slowly walked with our weapons, slowly creeping up behind the boss, hoping to get a clear shot from him. I was ready, pointing my gun at him. I was about to take the shot when suddenly I was gone. I just looked behind me on my last few seconds, and I saw it, the lady that I had fallen so much in love with. She had just betrayed me once more. A clean gunshot went through my whole torso, my heart bleeding, and I could see, and some say that you can see through the other side. Well, I just looked behind, see her smile. She knew what she had done. She knew she had just betrayed me, yet she was just pleasured by it, by the thought that she had killed a man that thought he had a chance with her. Slowly, I wake up the next day. I think maybe, just maybe, a kind soul took me to the hospital. Maybe, just maybe, the girl took pity on me and she decided to be mine, and this is her sign of showing some appreciation. It was not the case. Apparently, I was dead. And my life has always been the one of danger. I always know that. I always knew it was coming for me. But this time, almost seeing it happening, it just took me somewhere else. I just thought to myself, this is it. This was the life. Something strange happened. Could still cross the two sides. Could still talk to those who who were on the side of the living, and I could still walk on the path of the damned. It was a weird sight. Something, you could say, paranormal. Well, I learned to live with it. I learned to appreciate it. It is now who I am, and who I always will be. My name is Lost the Time, but you may call me Poltergeist Pistol. Well, here we are. This is my first day on this investigation. Well, first day on the field at least. I've had a couple of encounters with these groups before, paranormal stuff. It is kind of what I pride myself in looking into nowadays. But this one seems to be a bit different from normal. This seems to be a case that seems to involve more moving pieces than I had anticipated. Well, not like I minded. I will keep I will keep looking for it, and I will keep tracking down this crime, even though I have to do this weird profession thing. Well, let's get right to it then. There's no much time to spare. First, let me just take a sip of water and go to my side. I'll stay over here for most of this, as I was advised to present myself to all of you. Oh, what was that? Oh, well. So, here we are. First, let's begin with the simple stuff. Who am I to you? You can just call me Pistol. Some call me Poltergeist Pistol. It was simply a title given to me. It wasn't anything, let's put it, it wasn't anything official, I'd say. But still, it's what I go by most of the time. Well, that is pretty much, you may call me Pistol, you may call me Poltergeist still, if you'd like. I don't mind it either way. I'm just gonna, as long as he can be recognized. In any case, I'd say that the birthday, well, as I've said before, my memory of the time before I was dead, is very hazy and very full of holes. As far as I know, the true day I was born in was the day I died. The day I died to the woman that I thought I had loved. As far as languages go, I'd say I only speak two of them. This language of crime, and the language of justice, of a man that fights against what comes after him. Now, crime has many names, has many ways to show up, but my experience with it shows that these kind of things, they are just equations. All you have to do is line up the numbers and you get the right answer. Well, that is why I'm here. I'm gonna put the right numbers in the right sequence, and now you will finally solve this case. Oh, nice. I've just realized I had a nice rain sound effect going on, but it didn't show up at all on the stream. I still think that Goober guy, he should have shown me a little bit more of this whole thing instead of just throwing me in here. Oh well, so be it. He also told me during this section it would be nice to play a little bit of calm music to get to the spirit of things. That is a bit too loud, I think. Probably louder than me. Well, this, I want it very soft. It's just in the background, just to set the mood. Well, what else we have? Right. As far as blood type goes, I don't really have blood. You see, I'm as see-through as it gets. You could just go through me, because I am a ghost. A poltergeist, even. Yes, a poltergeist. This is very traumatic. This is very traumatic to me, this whole poltergeist deal, but I live with it. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But if I'd had to say, the only blood I know is the blood of those that I failed to comply. My line of work, you have to be ready for failures. This is not some sort of movie. It's very easy to run into problems. And one such problem might just be that you just don't find the right answer. This is very common. But sometimes the right answer and the lack thereof a right answer might take you to losing the life of someone. You get used to it. You must always care greatly for those you lost. But still, you must still move forward. Ah, those I've lost. Those are never coming back. Those are the worst types. The ones I wish I could go back in time to fix. Yeah. Well, as far as occupation goes, you may call me a private paranormal investigator. Now, I've seen, how do I put this? Amateurs, I'd say, on TV shows or such things nowadays. And they call themselves paranormal investigators. Well, personally, I couldn't care much for those. They're always the type to just make a whole event out of things. Well, I'm not one to make an event out of things, let's say. I am just here for the truth. And as long as I figured it out, then so be it. I am not here to put on a show. And this is a little joke to you fellas. I mean, this is entertainment after all. My height, 6 feet under, you see, because I'm dead. It's a little joke that I've made for all of you. I hope you all enjoy it greatly. Yeah. Alright. We're moving on. Oh, my story. You might have just heard my story, but you haven't heard my story. My story is simple. Love is a problematic thing. Everyone thinks they know what they want out of love, but they always end up getting something different. Lovesick fool I was, thinking she could have been the one. The only thing I ever got out of it was a broken and bleeding heart. Some days, I think fondly of the time I used to see anything but black and white, but I think it suits me. Nothing is truly black or white in my vision now. Everything I ever see is pure gray. Fitting for a world where everyone has their flaws and their nuggets of gold. Now I am between worlds, the one of the damned and the one of the living, being the gray that connects the two worlds. Yes, that is my story. Yeah, I know. It was very, very emotional and everything, but... dude, you didn't say anything with that. What are you talking about? It clearly meant something. Clearly meant my story. You shouldn't even be here. Go back to the lineup, okay? Go back to the lineup. Alright? Thank you. Now we continue. Now, as far as goes go, it's very simple, you see. I only really have one goal in life. The goal is to find the truth. Nothing more than the truth. Well, it is what it is. As long as I find it, I will be happy. But I'm just gotta get used to it, I guess. Sometimes you don't find it. Sometimes you search for it and you don't find the truth. But if you want to find the truth, you dig it? That is very nice. Thank you, Mr. Marcus. I appreciate that you dig it. I am sorry that apparently, I don't know why, but apparently the Mr. Goober, as he was setting this up, he might have missed to put the chat box in the corner of my screen. Now, that was a very silly mistake from Mr. Goober. Please, Mr. Goober, fix it. There. Does that fix it? I think it does. Thank you. Well, otherwise, I'd say that currently my main goal is to figure out what is happening with this Mr. Executioner. What just happened to his crime? What had just happened to his life? Now, as I've searched, I've noticed some of his affiliates think the man is lost, think the man is gone from life. Well, I've seen many dead, I've seen many alive. I wouldn't put it past either outcome, but I must find him because the truth about what happened in his case is more important than finding out a body dead or alive. Now don't let the one with the skirt hear that, because he gets very upset when he hears about the possibility of executioner being crooked and, left in a ditch. Yeah, he doesn't like that. Water. Not as good as whiskey, but still very useful. Otherwise, I'd say that my goals are pretty much set on the search for truth. Justice is also very, very interesting, but justice is not as important as the truth. You see, without the truth, justice cannot operate. It is merely a fact of the world. You see? Well, otherwise, I think this is pretty much much of things. Also, Mr. Goober has advised me to talk to you all about apparently video games. I must do that too since I'm already here. Oh, I'm not one much for games. I've already played it live. Played it too much, in fact. But still, if it's part of the job, I guess I must do it to fit in. So, within the coming weeks, I'll be streaming. Good way to get into the mind of the Axeman himself before the incident. Yes, exactly. I must really dive deep into this job. Dive deep into this world of Executioner. And to do that, I must immerse myself within his culture, as depraved as it might be. As depraved as this whole V-Shuba thing is. I still must get into it. Well, so we'll be live. I guess we're just gonna have to keep a lookout and keep moving. Otherwise, well, during the streams for this month, well, for the rest of this month at least, I'll also be making sure to keep doing my investigations, so keep a lookout. I can't go too much into it at the moment, as I am currently, how should I put this? I'm currently being watched by the bird, but as soon as probably maybe the next stream, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But let's keep it a hush-hush for now. Wouldn't want others trying to mess with my investigations. Yes? Well, this is cool and dandy and all, but as you can probably tell, this is a debut after all, and the people said me there are a couple of things you must do during your debut. Now, I am just part of this team, so Mr. Goober told me that I don't have to have things like an Oshi mark or things of the like. Though I hear that Executioner already has all those things very figured out, and it's a very nice Oshi mark he has, and all those things. But he did tell me that apparently it is very important that I do a bit of a, what's it called? The karaoke, I think. It's maybe some sort of ritual. I don't know. But he told me to pick a song and try to sing it. I'm not very much of the singing type, but I guess I can always spare the time to try to do something like that. Just give me a couple of seconds to just figure this out. And, well, if it's not your cup of deal, I would recommend you block your ears or something of the like, because it's gonna be very how do I put this? Very intrusive, I'd say, to your ears. Let me go. Oh, this thing needs to be this color. Hold on. Where is it? Yeah. No, that's not it. It's not it. No, that's definitely not it. Oh, there we go. Alright. Here it is. I'm gonna do a bit of singing for you all. I'm not very much of the singing type, but I suppose I can give it a shot. I'll need to stop this song and put on the next one. Hit us with what you got. I will do it. I'll hit you with the 1-2, as they say it. Okay. Now, I wasn't very familiar with this song. Apparently, it's from an anime, but I will give it a shot. It seems like a nice song. It reminds me of the subtle tones from my era. Apparently, it's a cover by one Mr. group called Platinum Jazz. They seem like interesting fellas. I'll give it a shot. Let's see how well this goes. Let me know if the song is perhaps too quiet or anything of the like.
Who is he? Who is he? Who is he? He is called the devil man. He's the devil man. Some say he's a traitor, some say he's God's eyes. He's a man who sacrificed everything to fight. Devil arrow, the speed of light. Devil ears, got him in the night. Devil wings, he's the lord of the skies. Devil being a ray of fire. With evil powers close at hand, the devil's in command. The hero, so just and fair. He's devil man. He's devil man. One day he was touched by the kindness of a man. Hearing of humans' love, he began to understand. Devil chop,
The powerless fist, devil eyes, clear in the mist. Devil kick, breaking every bone. Devil cutter, crushing stones.
with
Evil powers close at hand. The devil's in command.
He's a hero, so just and fair.
He's Devil Man. He's Devil Man. But enjoy this one. Devil means tends not be just north air. I can tell you that from experience. Evil powers close at hand. The devil's in command. He's a hero, so just and fair. He's Devil Man.
He's Devil
Oh, that was that. I'm glad we got through that. Thank you, thank you. I've heard the multitude of eights is supposed to represent appreciation for one's abilities. So I thank you that you are thankful for my abilities. Well, now that we've been through this, had another section planned out. Now this might take a little bit longer, and I'm gonna wait on a couple of fellas, but before that, because I just received some words from them telling me they might not be exactly the most on time. I will, let me revise a couple of things with you all. First of all, I've realized a couple of things. Let me take off this microphone away from me, since I'm not singing anymore. Get out of here. Boom. Destroyed. Yeah. Anyway, my associates of Team Executioner, I've realized a couple of things. First thing I want to show you all is one Mr. Goober. He's the one that makes the schedules and such. And I've realized a most curious thing he does. Let me try to get an example for all of you. Where is it? I believe it might have been somewhere. Where is it? This one. Okay. Look at this. Now, I've realized that Mr. Goober, he does the thingies. And he did something like this. Notice how in both Monday and Saturday, he marks out the little dates in his schedule. He marks out apparently the dates with, let's call it, the significant streams. It seems that Mr. Goober knows a little bit more about these streams than he lets on. Notice how in the TF2 one, there was a little bit of a talk with the one Mrs. Uh, Battle Axe, I think is their name. She was talking, and she dropped a couple of infos, and that was somewhat important for following, let's say, the lore. And on the Minecraft one is when Mr. Xprintus joined the streams and joined the team. Now I've realized that both of these he marked out on his calendar, and what it leads me to believe is that Mr. Goobor thinks these are the streams where if you're trying to follow the, let's say, plot line, those are the streams usually to look out for. Well, that's not too much of a problem though, because if you do try to follow all of them, that means you're watching every single stream this week. And now we are aware that that's just not something anyone should be doing. As much as you might enjoy our streams, should only be stopping by periodically, not the whole time, you know? I'm sure you all have many different things to do. So, what he has told me is that he's planning on releasing a highlights video of these streams every day. Well, of every stream that's gonna happen during this week, or at least all the significant parts on, and then upload them onto youtube.com. Now, that makes it far more easy to follow along with what we're trying to achieve here in this plot line. And personally, it just helps keeping it all under wraps. And as we get closer to a couple of events, Mr. Goober also said that he's planning on doing a more inclusive recap episode stream, let's call it, with perhaps me and him, but we're not sure yet how that's gonna work. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep moving, though not yet to the thing, because we're waiting for the hour mark, and then after the hour mark, we're gonna have the interrogations. Though, as I said before, a couple of my investigees are a bit late today, it seems. But don't worry about them. I'm sure we're gonna have plenty of time to go over them. Well, otherwise, unless anyone has any questions, any doubts about what to do now, I'd say just sit back and relax, as the streams are just starting. Let's see. Let me see if there is any more points I should make. Let it ride, boss? Oh, I'm glad you think so. Let me see if there are still some points of contention. Oh, this might be a good opportunity. Okay. So, we're also looking into making more, let's say, how'd I put this? We're looking into making the streams more interactive. Now, this is obviously not begging for anything, but we don't have the most active chat, which is fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to be a couple of tests where chat is going to be able to affect some of these things on stream. And during those tests, we're gonna perhaps make a bit of uh, we're gonna be using a couple of the techs on Twitch. Like, for example, one of the ones we're looking into is apparently there's like a tech where you can like click on the screen, and then it shows up on the streamer screen, which is pretty nice and would be pretty handy for our mission. So we're going to test out some of the waters on those. Otherwise, let's see if there's actually no. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Now we're just gonna have to wait a little bit because I'm dead sure that my associates are still not here at the moment. How is everyone doing though? I hope everyone that might stop by the stream is doing just fine, as I am. Let's see. Oh, and for any possible VOD watchers, if you're watching this whole stream instead of watching the highlights of this stream, we'd love to get feedback on any sort of problems you might have had on stream, be it audio, be it let's say maybe just visual, anything goes. And for those things, so it would be very nice to hear it from everyone. But as is, let's see, is there anything left? Oh, if anyone is interested, the game we're currently looking into having me play is apparently one game called, what's the name of it? Somnium Filings? Something like that. Apparently I'll be going over the game to really get in the mind of Dr. Executioner and get in the mind of the kind of things he likes, the kind of things he enjoys. Well, I think it's gonna be an interesting test, to say the least. I'm sure Executioner would have probably enjoyed to play this game, as he is quite a fan of this Uchikochi fella. But as is, he probably has his hands full, or maybe hands empty, with his blood running on the floor. Well, if so, either way, I hope the best for him. Well, and finally, one last thing. We from Team Executioner are very thankful for all the support people have given us, be it just by interacting with us on Twitter, or watching the streams, or in anything you all do. It is very rewarding, to say the least. At least that's what Goober has told me to say. Well, I think it's about time we start looking into that lineup I was talking about. Well, it's best we just head on over there. I'm gonna do a little bit of preparing, so this be right back might be here for a little while, but I'll be back soon enough. See you all on the other side. Well, well, well. Here we are. We got quite a group of people here to talk about this whole executioner thing. As I've said before, executioner, he might have been gone in a simple way. Everyone saw it. The footage was right there in front of all of us. Yes, the usual suspects, you might call it. Though some took time out of their busy day to stop by, which is very helpful of them. Maybe they're trying to cover for something, but we will see, I guess. Well, we should start with the progenitor, the one who feeds the family, as we might call it. Well, Mother Battle Axe, do you have anything you have to say for yourself?
Well, first of all, I am very, very disappointed that you think I would do something to my honey. He is my little cup of honey, and I love him so much, like honey.
Well, Mother Battle Axe, that is very nice of you. I see that you're very fond of honey as well, but I just think this whole ordeal is still suspicious. Ma could never? Well, you would be surprised, Mr. Mage. You would be so surprised. Well, let's start with a quick round of questions, and then we'll see from there. Well, Mrs. Battleaxe, where were you during the night of October 2nd, 2021?
Well, I was in my room in my house, and I was just watching my daily rewatches of one Mr. Columbo. One of which, let me tell you, honey, you look quite like him, and that's, well, you know, if you want to ever step into the room to help me out with one of those rewatches,
That is very kind of you, but I will not accept those requests at the moment. So let us just continue with this line of questioning. So you're just saying that you are still watching. You were just watching TV at the time, right?
well, no, this is not bribery. I'm just trying to invite this nice mister to come in with me, and we just could, spend some time together. Especially since he's such a nice size and all.
Oh, well, that's besides. Okay. Were you doing anything else, Mrs. Battleaxe?
Well, no. When my honey was attacked by that horrible, yet somehow handsome monster, I was just standing there watching, and then suddenly, Goobor, he just steps into the room and just starts telling me that something happened to him, and I was just so worried, and his door wouldn't open, so I just kicked it down with my pure thick legs.
Well, that's very nice, Mr. Executioner. Well, let's go to the next question. Do you have anything? I mean, it's quite clear you're his mother, but what exactly is your relationship with Dr. Executioner?
What do you mean relationship? I'm his mom. You some kind of freak? Are you from Alabama?
Mrs. I understand that this might be a little bit touching, but I just mean more in the sense of how well do you two get together? How well do you two interact?
Well, I'd say me and my honey have a perfectly fine relationship, you see. He is very helpful towards me, though I wish he would do a couple more things around the house. But meanwhile, I give him all the care and love of a mother. Very simple stuff, you see.
Well, that's very nice, Mrs. Battleaxe. But, wouldn't you say that maybe your relationship with him, because you rely so much on Mr. Executioner, that it might throw him off in the wrong sense?
Why, of course not. My honey, I raise him well, you see. I know exactly he would be fine with me just being a little bit more, demanding of him. I just want him to grow up into a proper little man. You see?
No. And if that's so, Mrs. Battleaxe. Well, let's go to the next one then. Did you ever feel compelled to attack Mr. Executioner?
Attack? Like, well, I guess I do beat the, I do just give him a little nudge every now and then, just to make sure that he grows up into a strong man, into a big boy. I don't want him to be like a little pansy that goes around acting like he doesn't know what's what. I want him to know what the world is like.
Well, that seems pretty clear. Well, from the history, it seems like you have a little bit of a background with Mr. Ferguson. If so, can you elaborate on it?
I will not.
Excuse me?
I will not elaborate on my sex life on this stream.
What? Currently, Mr. Battleaxe, what is your relationship with the current management of AXE? As you know, your son, your other son, does work there as the new, what do we call it, the king or something like that.
Well, I'm very proud of Exterminator for all the business he does, but I think he needs to lay off my good honey and just go off on his own. He needs to grow up, just like his brother. It's very nice that he has a business and everything, but he needs, to grow up. And I am here to take care of my son as he takes care of me. And I will do anything to protect my boy.
Well, that seems pretty shun case. So just appreciate your son, but still would wish for the best for the other one. Maybe a little bit of favoritism, I might add, but for this case, this favoritism might come at your favor, let's call it. Well, we can skip this question, but I don't know. Okay, we can skip this one. But number 7, then.
What was the question?
You said, don't worry about it. Anyway, is there anyone involved in this case that you suspect could be in touch with Mr. Ferguson?
How do you mean in touch?
I mean, like, maybe talking to him, maybe double dealing with him on the back of Mr. Executioner. Goober definitely, he seems like the type to, like, mess with... Hey, what the fuck are you talking about? You were sleeping with the man! What the fuck do you mean, me? What do you mean, me? How does that equate to anything? Well, you know, you're both green, and like, oh, I see how it is. Just because I'm, okay, I see how it is. Well, settle down now, everyone. This is getting a bit touchy. We want to keep it friendly to everyone. Yeah, she Mrs. Battleaxe, I think you went a little bit too far, but at the end of the day, that is your opinion, so I will write this down. So, one vote towards Goober, I suppose. What you mean, vote towards me? What did I do? I mean, she just accused me blindly of it, just because of my... I mean, on her own words, my fucking skin, I mean, it's getting pretty spicy for the stream, which I think is getting a little bit too, topical. Let's move on. Well, we have another, we have a more, a friend of the Team Executioner here with us today. One Sir Vaudevillain. He gave some of his time to step in and help us out with this investigation. And we're very thankful for that.
Yes, I do have a very busy schedule, so let's please try to keep it a little short if we can.
I will do so, Mr. Vaudevillain. I still appreciate your support towards this case. Well, let's get right to it then. What exactly were you doing during the night of October 2nd, 2021?
Oh yes, that was last Friday, I believe. I was busy all night with rehearsal. I was rehearsing a magnificent plan I had for well, I can't exactly divulge the secrets after all, but I was actually very frustrated because I was trying to find a way to provide entertainment while completely milking the money out of everyone, but I found everything I tried to plot that Disney had already done, so I'm still at a road there. But anyway, my night was entirely blocked up with that, so... Anything else?
Yes, it would be quite hard to really try to do anything that Disney themselves haven't already tried, but one little question. You said on a Friday night. Now, as it just so happens, this whole ordeal happened on the 2nd, and the 2nd is actually a Saturday.
Oh,
now,
well, I was rehearsing all that night, too. It was a very busy weekend.
Okay, well, I see. It's understandable. Nights start to fold on each other, and you just kind of start missing the passage of time. Well, let's move forward. What is your relationship with Dr. Executioner?
Yes, the good doctor is a colleague, I suppose would be the best way. He provides great input for my schemes, and I provide also input and I guess consultation as well to some of his ideas regarding how suitably dramatic they are. But yes, I suppose colleague is the best way. We are also share a form of camaraderie from our previous days.
This is very interesting. Would you care to elaborate? Just, you say that the two of you have a little bit more of a relationship between making plots of the type of that would how would
I wouldn't say we make plots together. We more share. It's more that when we have our own individual plots, we share our. I guess you would call it proofreading in a way.
So it would be more like a relationship
Chestnut.
uh, between two friends, where each friend shows what they're planning and what they have in mind.
Yes, it would be. I would say that's an accurate description.
That's very understandable. It's a very understandable description. As after all, your two are self-described friends. Well, moving on though. At the same time though, we all know that Dr. Executioner is not the most friendly man out there. Did you ever feel compelled to attack Doctor?
Of course not. I'm not a savage. I would never dream of doing such things. Violence is just so lowbrow.
Maybe not violence, but maybe he's trying to get him out of the picture, as one might say.
Of course not. Why would I lose such a valuable asset to my plans?
That's very understandable. I can see where you're coming from. But, okay. You were from AXC, correct? Well, were you ever in touch with this Mr. Ford Ferguson? He seems to also been a colleague of Dr. Executioner during those years, so...
Yes, I do know of Mr. Ferguson.
Well, did you ever...
I have tried not to be too close to him, but I will say I have found some of his, how do I say this? His vocal renditionings, or at least fascinating enough that I have made recordings of them for my own purposes. But other than that, I don't think I've ever held a deep conversation with him, for the most part. So no, I wouldn't call it a close relationship. But I am sure I've met him.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's certainly an interesting specimen, you might call him. Well, moving on then. Do you ever... currently, I heard that the two of you and Mr. Gladius, alongside Executioner, were kicked out of AXC for your own reasonings. Do you have any... What is your current feelings towards the management of AXC?
Philistines. They just don't have an appreciation for true villainy.
Well, that seems pretty cut and dry. Just a clear sign of not being a fan of theirs. Well, sorry for this line of questioning, but this might be somewhat relevant. Did you ever sleep with Mrs. Battleaxe?
I would like to refrain from answering this question, considering my current positioning.
Understandable. Well, continuing our investigation, moving past that one. For the last question, is there anyone involved in this case that you suspect to be in touch with Mr. Ferguson?
Well, the only thing I could say is that, Mr. Ferguson is the fisherman in the deep diving mass. I would say the most logical way to go about it would be just to look to anyone associated with any kind of deep sea creatures. Now, I wouldn't know if anyone would be like that, but that might be a direction you may want to look.
So deep sea creatures, perhaps fish, maybe crabs, maybe squids.
Possibly.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on just a second.
You have anything to add to this conversation, Mr. Gladius?
I did not do it. It was not me.
I didn't say it was.
Well, seems like votes were put in place. Well, moving on. Mr. Cooper, can you explain why why the monkey is here for questioning? It's because the
Monkey!
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Very, very mature. Well, Mr. Pinky, where were you during the night of October 2nd, 2021? That is quite interesting, Mr. Pinky, but I am afraid I don't speak monkey, so unless anyone in this room can comically answer for him, I don't think it can be really understood. I can speak monkey. Really? No. Oh. Well. Very, very helpful of you then, I guess. Well, seems like the music went down, though. What's up with that? Let's check just to see if our lovely stream is still going, because I wouldn't want to have sad reality where the stream goes down and we're just missing broadcasting some of this important content. Oh, okay, that seems to be going just fine. Well, let's continue then. Mr. Pinky, then, are all your answers going to be anything possibly relevant to this case that we can derive anything from? Moving on. Do you want, Mr. Cooper? Did you expect me to ask the monkey if he slept with the boy, with Mr. Executioner's mom? Do you really? This is kind of stepping on some boundaries, Mr. Cooper. Monkey. Okay, well, let's move on from there. Mr. Ex-Prentice, your adoration for Mr. Executioner is quite clear, and that makes you very much, that means that I expect your cooperation with this case to be very, very insightful, as I expect that you were probably very close to watching what Executioner was up to during that time, right? Well, yeah, I watch every single one of his streams, make sure to archive all his VODs, and make sure to also I keep a list of everyone that he's interacted with. By the way, hello, Mr. Marcus. It's good to see you. Hello, Mr. Mage. It's nice seeing you two in here. Well, otherwise, yeah, I have a good, keen eye on what's going on in his life, I guess you could say that. Well, that is very insightful. Thank you. Anyway, where were you during the night of October 2nd, 2021 then? Well, first, yes, hello, Mr. Mage. It's nice to see you. Well, I'd say I'll have luck. Well, I don't need luck. As I'm gonna say, during the night of October 2nd, I was just watching his streams and making sure that Mr. X was having a good old time. I was very worried because by the end there, he seemed to get he seemed to be getting very distressed. I just didn't like that, so I went outside to grab one of my axes back at home, and then I started to come back home, and then when I got there, Mrs. Battle Axe was kicking in the door and making sure that we could go in, but when we got in, he was just not there. He was just not there. I mean, it's very upsetting, especially I was gonna make him dinner and I was gonna do so many cool things with him, and he said that October is gonna be a special month for the two of us, and I just want to see him again. Well, quite a insightful line of questioning, line of answers really, but I was glad to hear that you think so highly of Mr. Executioner. And then, the next question is obviously, what is your relationship with Dr. Executioner? But I'm guessing that by your answers from before, we already pretty much know.
Hey, excuse me, sorry to interrupt this.
Hold on, I need to talk about Executioner.
No, what does Calavera mean by that guy on the right? Surely it's not the guy just right of the person that's currently being questioned. He means the far right, right?
Hello, Mr. Calavera. Good to see you here. But listen, Big Squid Man. I was about to talk about.
It's rude to interrupt the thing, Gladius. You could at least let them finish before you say.
Oh, shut up, you backstabbing son of a bitch!
I was about to talk about Mr. Executioner and how great he is, and how we go out and he showed me places, and then we talk a lot, and I mean, I don't know about relationship. I mean, we never really got that far, but we're pretty close. We're pretty close, and I mean, we like to hang out together a lot, and it's special. The way I would describe our relationship is special. They went to the shop together one time, and then next all the other times, X-Prentice has been just following Executioner as he goes to work. So, might want to write that down. Mr. Poltergeist. Thank you. Very insightful conversations from the two of them. It certainly shows a lot from either one of them, but well, anyway, moving on to the next question. I was just gonna write this down. Did you ever feel compelled to attack Dr. Executioner, Mr. X-Prentice? You wanna get stabbed? How dare you? How dare you imply I would ever... Well, I mean, if it's his thing, I guess. If he wants it, I can attack him. But otherwise, no. It's not a touchy subject. It's just saying the truth. I mean, I wouldn't do anything like that to him. He's a good guy, and unless he wants it. Okay, well, let's leave the two. Let's cross that one out. Okay. Well, have you ever interacted with Mr. Ford Ferguson and Mr. X-Prentice? And if so, how? Well, our first interaction was when he came here in the house. Well, I was cooking dinner, right? And I was making... The Executioner told me that this guy likes a lot of fish. So I started I was thinking, well, maybe if he likes fish so much, I would make the kind of fish that Executioner likes, and he usually likes sushi, though he likes his sushi cooked because he doesn't like to eat raw fish. And, well, when I was making the sushi, he was just standing there, just watching as I cooked the fish, and it was kind of creepy, but he then started to help me out in the kitchen, and he was a very helpful guy. And, well, I couldn't understand anything he said because he usually just yelled out everything he wanted to say, but it still was nice, I guess. He seemed like a nice guy. Oh, well, that is certainly a different testimony from all your other colleagues. But let's leave it at that. Did you ever have any relations? What is your current thoughts of the current management of AXE? Well, I think that mean exterminator ought to get dragged into the streets and lynched to a pole. He needs to stop being so mean to my executioner. And he did take away X3, that bitch, but otherwise, I think he needs to stop. He needs to be stopped, and he's a mean man that needs to stop. Yes. Okay. Well, I don't have the judicial power to send you to a psychological analysis, but it's very clear to me that you do need one. So please, if you can make the time for it, do so. Well. Okay, so question number 6 is, well, I mean, it's kind of touchy, but no, not my type. Sorry. Well, that clears it up pretty fast, I'd say. Well, I suppose we don't have much to talk on that end then, so let's move on. She looks a little bit like Executioner, but I wouldn't do it because she's a lady. Okay. Well, we had enough. Well, last question: is there anyone involved in this case that you would say that perhaps was in touch with Mr. Ferguson, that you think was working alongside him? Well, of everyone here, I think the only person that I would say, yeah, that could be a thing would be Mrs. Battleaxe. I mean, she can be a nice lady, but she can be very mean, and I mean, she did sleep with him, and that's kind of shady. I mean,
you're in deep shit, lady. You're in deep shit, you little twat. I am going to squash your head when we are over with this.
I mean, you can try, but I got a pretty strong head. I every now and then I try to bash my head in to get into Executioner's room because he locks it every now and then. But my head normally doesn't bleed until I start doing it 100 times. So you can try, but I got a pretty good head. Yeah. What the? Okay, I think I stepped into a real circus with all of you, but well, anyway. Mr. Squidman, or is it correct to say your name is Gladius? You look quite different from the rest, and can't say I'm a fan of the Cruella de Vil style of clothing. Well, do you have... I guess we're just gonna jump straight to the questions. Where were you during the night of October 2nd, 2021?
first off, I would like to say that I was brought here on false pretenses. I had no idea that this was happening. I had no idea this was the content of this stream. And I think that's a case for entrapment right there. So, but on October 2nd, 2021, my roommate was working on some sort of weird video thing, so I left the house so he could have it, for himself. And I just went to the park all night. And I slept on the bench.
Now, some sort of video thing? Now, was he recording some kind of videotape kind of proof that could be shown to the public or anything of the like?
No, it was nothing like that. It was like some video about a game or something. I don't know. He's kind of a weirdo.
He's one of those VTubers, is he?
No, actually, every time I go on a stream like this, he usually rants to me about how things. I don't want to get into it.
Well, if you don't want to get into it, then we're not getting into it. Oh, well then. So you were helping out this roommate of yours with this video, or like being in the park, whatever. The key thing here is were you or were you not in this company at the time?
The company of who exactly?
Of your roommate.
No, park was completely empty.
So there's just no one to verify your story, is what you're saying.
Okay, well, there was a dog, I guess, but he's dead. The dog.
There used to be a dog, yeah. He's probably dead now.
Well, it was very tragic circumstance. There was a car. I was driving it real fast.
I am not kind to those who are not kind to dogs or any animals, if we're being honest. So I will keep an eye out on you. But in any case, let's keep going, I suppose. What would you say is your relationship with Dr. Executioner?
I mean, I would say we're friends. We've known each other for a few years now, and we like to hang out. We like to get into it. We like to come up with little schemes. We like to pull pranks and little spoofs and goofs, that sort of thing.
Well, do you have any examples of such spoofs and goofs and pranks and such?
I am not privy to disclose that information.
So many dogs dead. Well, anyway. Well, what would you say then? Let's move on to the next question. I'm really not interested in all this dog genocide. Did you ever feel compelled to attack Dr. Executioner, though?
That is not something I have ever felt was necessary.
Oh, really? Well,
Only if you turned him into a dog.
Well, I suppose if he was turned into a dog, it would be more interesting for this Mr. Gladius, would it? Well, in any case, why would you not... Let's go back a little bit. Why would you say that it's not necessary? Do you just think he doesn't deserve it, or maybe he's just never called for such an action?
The Doc and I are pretty good friends, and he's never done anything to cross me. Unlike Bod, who may be facing some punishment after this stream is over.
Bold words.
I will crush you. Like a jelly.
Try.
Well,
You can't even. You have to reach me first.
Well, in any case, let's move on then. Let's keep on moving. Well, have you ever interacted with Mr. Ford Ferguson? I mean, I don't wanna put any sort of types here, but I am very...
Okay, hold on. I know exactly what to say here. I'd like to thank the lady, the little lady standing next to me, because she provided a very excellent alibi for why I would not associate with anyone like this Ford guy, because, whatever. There's some nautical connections you could form between the two of us. Just on a thematic level, I guess. But I mean, he's a diver. He kills deep sea. He helped cook fish. Why would I associate with this man in a positive manner? Why would I be collaborating with him? It's completely ridiculous.
Fish are just the dogs of the sea.
Yeah, and I'm a fish. I think last night. You know what? It's murky a bit. I don't want to. I don't want to think about that. That's kind of existential.
Well, so you would say that you don't have very good relationships with Mr. Ford, then? Well, then let's move on to the next one. What would you say? Well, top tier mage brings up an interesting question because, after all, deep sea animals do eat other deep sea animals. Wouldn't you eat?
See, I don't know if actual squids eat fish or not, probably, since, they can't really leave the water. But I don't. It's why I didn't want to think about it, okay? This is starting to get weird for me. I've actually got, like, a normal, more human-looking mouth underneath all these tentacles. I don't want to question my biology. It's not something I've ever thought. Can we move on to the next question, please?
Well, if you ask with such ease, yes, of course. Oh, have you ever, actually, what is your relationship with the current management of AXE? It has come to my attention that you were kicked out for apparently being too evil towards dogs. Is that the truth?
No, I walked out voluntarily in solidarity with my good friend Executioner, who was wrongly terminated from the organization.
Also because he killed dogs. Well,
I don't know why this is relevant. I don't know why such... Never mind.
Well, moving on then.
No, we're not moving on. I'm gonna clarify this for the sake of my innocence, okay? I talked about this on the villain rating stream that I was on last with Executioner and Bod.
Yes.
And I clarified that my animosity towards dogs is only for the sake of a villainous the most evil thing I could think to do would be, and I think you can all agree with me here, is to harm an animal, especially a dog. And so, I mean, I'm a villain, right? So I gotta do something to really earn my place.
I thought we decided in that stream that the most evil thing was diddling children, which you kept asking about.
Okay, that's much worse.
So why haven't you diddled children?
Some lines are not meant to be crossed, and you are crossing them. You're crossing every line I have, and I'm going... Can we go to the next question, please?
Yes, that is what I was trying to do, but... Well, to keep it short. Question 6, Executioner's mom, yes or no?
I don't want to be rude, but, never.
Well, I'm still open to it, honey, so...
Well, I don't actually know if our organs are compatible. I don't want to talk about my biology anymore.
We can make it compatible, honey. It's just like, you just gotta give it a call.
No.
Well, that being the case, let's move in then to the last question. Is there anyone involved in this case that you suspect could be in touch with Mr. Ferguson?
Well, I guess I sort of have an answer to that. I've been kind of wondering if this Ford Ferguson guy is such a big suspect. Why isn't he here? Like, he showed up, I think, on a different stream for a moment. I don't think it was planned, but... And then there's the Executioner's brother, he just keeps antagonizing him. Both of those guys seem way more likely than anyone else here.
Well, to explain to you why we couldn't do it, well, you see, Mr. Exterminator is in some fucking castle in the middle of fuck nowhere. No one fucking knows where he is. So, get that out of your head, as is. Then the next one is Ford. Why did I bring him here? Because the last time he was here, he tried to kill someone. me, let's say. So I was a bit touchy about trying to contact him. Besides, if contacting him is even possible at the moment, considering that guy probably he is just somewhere else, just holding on to Executioner's body or some shit. I mean, who the fuck knows what he's doing, right?
Okay, well, why couldn't he have done it by himself? You see, I saw the disappearance thing that was somehow filmed, but
The
I saw
questioning
it.
is for more information, not necessarily just to accuse one of us of being the murderer. Idiot.
Well, it wasn't me, so I don't know why I'm here.
To provide more information. How can you not comprehend this?
I just thought I was gonna come on and have a good time. I didn't even know the executioner. I thought it was a prank. I thought it was a bit. I didn't know he was actually gone. And I'm very upset that I am being looked at in this light. I wouldn't be here anymore.
Don't worry, Mr. Gladius. I'm sure that after this one, you're gonna be cleared out, and you won't have to worry about this. Anyway, in any case, moving on, Mr. Gubor. Well, you, in many ways, can be seen as Executioner's number 2, but many times, being the number 2 can be also very, very dangerous. It means that maybe some feelings got bottled up and left to the side, and that makes me question your position on this whole thing very, very much. Well, okay, let's just go this one by one, okay? Let's just go on this one by one. What were you doing during the night of October? Oh, very simple. I was in the fucking chat. I was literally right there, and I was trying to open Executioner's door. Mama Battleaxe was there. She saw it. She saw that I was already trying to open his door, and then I called in to her, and then told her to help me out to open the door. And then Ex-Princess saw me and Mama Battleaxe doing it, as he came in with a fucking axe, which we don't even carry those anymore in the house because I abandoned those after the incident. But anyway, so pretty fucking clear, didn't do it. Alright? Didn't do it. Now, next, Mr. What was my relationship with Dr. Executioner? Very simple. I was literally, you just said it. I'm number 2. I'm like the guy that does everything for him. I mean, you can, sure, we don't get along great. We, like, don't get along at all, really. But still, wouldn't fucking kill the guy. He still pays rent, you know. Number 3, ever feel compelled to attack Dr. Executioner? Absolutely, every day of the week. But killing is a very different thing. Have you ever interacted with Ford Ferguson? Yes, one time Executioner did call him before, and that guy was just creepy. He was just lunging around. He was showing his fucking fish collection or some shit. It was very weird. Very weird. Then another time, fucking every day of the week. Yeah, it's fucking every day of the week I want to kill that guy. But not in that way. Not in the way of, like, actually killing him. You be very careful, Mr. Blueberry. You're in thin fucking ice. Well, okay. So, interacted with Ford Ferguson? Yeah, sure. But, like, interacted as in friendly? No. That guy even showed up during one of my streams, and he was just fucking in the back, just doing his thing, and it was like, I was creeped out of my mind. I thought, oh yeah, this is death. I am dead. I am about to die. And then he just fucked off for a second, and that was that. Then number 5. What is your relationship with the current management of Axe? I don't give a shit about X. They can fucking die in a ditch. I don't care. I have no alignment to those fuckers. I just came in later. I mean, I kind of, sure, I worked in the X3 project, but it wasn't like, you know, I wasn't like having fun with it, you know, or whatever. Anyway, no, I did not do that. The question 6, I did not do the mom thing. It wasn't for the lack of trying on her end, though. The amount of times that woman kicks in my door, the reason why I knew I could call in her to kick in Executioner's door is because I knew that she's very proficient at door kicking. And my god, lady, I'm like, this is getting to a point of like restriction order, you know? It's just, yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore. And number 7, is there anyone in this case could be suspect? Could be in church with Mr. Ferguson? I don't fucking know. Maybe everyone here, but like maybe no one. I don't know why you keep thinking that Mr. Ferguson is not capable of just doing this thing on his own. Like, I know you're saying, oh, but Executioner didn't do anything towards Ferguson from all our research. For all we fucking know, the guy could have just flipped the switch and was like, yep, time to kill. Or, even more likely, just like Big Guy over here said, Exterminator is literally sitting in a castle, probably just having fun with champagne and being like, yep, my brother might be dead, and just fucking be fine with that. So, you know, maybe him? Well, that was very incited. So, well, Mr. Morsel, I see that you had some very interesting evidence, but as is...
Are you kidding me? Are you You really gonna come in here and do this to me, Ed? I don't care if you're not here. I will trap the house Home Alone style the next time you try to come back. I don't know what the hell you're doing. You know? Fuck this guy. Seriously. Why is everybody getting up in my grill?
Well, this certainly is interesting evidence, but as is, I think
It is not. I already talked about this.
I've already collected everything I wanted to hear. It would certainly be interesting to get an interview from Mr. Exterminator, but as is, I am sure he is quite busy with all the champagne dripping and probably with Mr. Sorry, not Mr. Probably with X3. He's probably enjoying his time a lot. But in any case, I thank you all for showing. Do you have any closing words or anything of the sort? Well, we'll take that as a no, then. Well, this was very insightful. I suppose you can all go now. And if you guys
Thank
have...
God.
Mr. Gladius, if you...
I do.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I do hope you catch whoever is responsible for this, and that we are able to bring our dear doctor back.
You want to bang?
In the
What?
stream, and just in the stream now. This is a shit show.
Yes,
This
I
is a
believe it's
farce.
a simple ending. I agree with the Gladius for once.
This
Let's
is a
end
kangaroo
now.
cart. This is a goddamn kangaroo cart.
Thank
I
you
will
for
not-
watching, audience. Salutations, farewell, adieu.
I will
I miss Executioner so fucking much, bro.